I was not meant to participate. I was simply there to observe and present him with a gift. Yet, the moment her gaze locked with mine, everything changed. She extended her hand toward me, and I remained still. I was the one who kissed her first. Not from curiosity, but from a necessity I hadn't allowed myself to acknowledge in years. As our hands made contact across his body, it dawned on me that this had transcended him. I was in the process of rediscovering a part of myself that I believed I had hidden away. It began with a question that seemed straightforward. If you had the chance to give him anything, what would it be? We stood on the back porch of our home in Ashland, Oregon, during the late summer. The type of warmth where the pinewood retains the sun until twilight, and the breeze brings the gentle whisper of leaves rather than the noise of traffic. Our house nestled at the forest's edge, featuring tall windows, raw wood, and shadows that danced with the trees. I'm Rachel. I am 36 years old, working as a freelance copywriter, and I have a tendency to overthink things. My browser history is filled with unique anniversary ideas. Nathan, my husband, is a drama teacher at the local high school. At 39, he continues to quote Shakespeare in casual conversation, effortlessly bringing a smile to my face each time. We've been married for 8 years without kids or dogs, just a couple of well-used hiking boots by the door, and a rhythm that had become comfortable, familiar, and predictable. Then, Avery arrived. She arrived on a Thursday dressed in jeans and a black linen blouse that billowed around her like stage lighting. Her steps were soft, yet purposeful, reminiscent of someone familiar with the arrangement of the room she had yet to enter. It had been nearly 10 years since we last met. In a time long past, she and Nathan had shared the role of co-leads in a college theater production. That was prior to her becoming an intimacy coach in Los Angeles, before she began hosting those serene sold-out retreats in Joshua Tree that vowed to realign your body's compass. I had brought her here under the guise of a birthday surprise for Nathan, or so I convinced myself. Yet, perhaps beneath the surface, I yearned for a fresh start of my own. Dinner consisted of a straightforward roast chicken, accompanied by sweet corn and a bottle of Pinot Noir sourced from a local vineyard. Yet, everything about that evening seemed anything but straightforward. Avery did not deliver a performance. She refrained from flirting. She took note. Each question she posed appeared to be laid back. Do you both still engage in those small Sunday rituals? Or what was the last experience you tried for the first time that revealed a bit more of yourselves? Nathan responded effortlessly, yet I sensed the change in his demeanor. His shoulders relaxed, his smile softened, and his gaze steadied as it fell on her. Not in a manner that posed a threat to me, not at this time. It felt akin to witnessing the moment someone lifts a curtain you hadn't noticed was drawn. I noticed Avery gazing at me, truly observing, neither judgment nor curiosity. There was a serene confidence about her, as if she could perceive the truths I had yet to acknowledge, even within my own mind. I had more reasons for doing this than just for Nathan. I longed to experience emotions once more. Authentic. Once we finished clearing the table, Avery rose and made her way to the expansive window that overlooked the deepening woods. She rested her hand against the glass and asked softly, "So do you want me to lead, or would you prefer to decide how far this goes?" Nathan faced me. He remained silent in response to her. He patiently awaited my arrival. In that moment, I understood that I possessed the power. Not to dictate what will occur, but to permit it. I rose to my feet. Gradually, I turned to Avery, this woman exuding a serene strength, and said, "Let's see what he does." If I release my grip, her lips formed the slightest hint of a smile. "Then I will ensure that neither of you forgets it." It had transcended the realm of seduction. It was a matter of yielding. The bedroom retained the aroma of cedar and fresh cotton, mingled with a subtle hint of vanilla from a candle I had neglected to extinguish earlier. I perched on the edge of the armchair, positioned just right to catch a glimpse of the bed. I had no shoes on my feet. My wine glass is half full. My breath was held halfway. Avery stood in the middle of the room, her figure outlined by the soft golden glow of the sconces. She remained silent, did not hurry. She effortlessly took Nathan's hand and led him to the bed as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Perhaps it was. He trailed behind her in silence, yet I could sense the tension in his fingers and the fleeting look he cast in my direction, indicating that this was uncharted territory for him, for us, for my benefit. She initiated the kiss, not as if someone desired him, but rather as if someone was revealing himself to him. A gentle, deliberate touch of lips. Her hand gently cradled the side of his neck, providing a sense of stability. His shoulders lowered slightly, perhaps too. I observed her as she started to undress him, not in a hurried manner, but with a gentle, deliberate touch. He unbuttoned his shirt one button at a time. His trousers gradually slipped down. There was an absence of shame, no awkwardness, and no self-deprecating humor regarding dad bods or beer bellies. Avery made no room for insecurity. She effortlessly observed and allowed you to feel acknowledged. Nathan reclined on the bed, wearing only his underwear, the sole barrier between him and complete exposure. As she moved between his legs and placed her lips against his chest, he let out a breath, profoundly from the core. Avery faced me, offering neither a question nor a gesture, merely a glance. I rose to my feet. My body acted before my mind could comprehend. My legs felt foreign, yet each step belonged solely to me. In that moment, I was uncertain of my direction. I realized that I was no longer in the armchair. I found myself standing before them, just inches apart. My chest is rising more rapidly now. I contacted her, not for Nathan but for her. I gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear with my fingers. Her eyes shut as if she had been anticipating that precise movement. She leaned into my touch, and when her hand rested on my waist, I remained still. I also leaned in. The kiss, when it arrived, was confident. It was gentle indeed, yet unmistakable. It was as if we had shared a kiss in a dream, yet neither of us could recall it. Behind us, Nathan observed, his eyes wide, lips parted, and legs braced. I faced him and smiled. "Text," I whispered. "This is your gift." Yet I felt the urge to unwrap it as well. Then we moved, not as two women seeking his approval, but as two women asserting our presence together. We gently placed him back onto the bed, Avery on one side, I on the other. Our hands glided together, caressing his arms, his chest, and the contours of his hips. His breathing became irregular. His body quivered under our touch. I pressed my lips to his stomach while she brushed her lips against his neck. She caressed the curve of his jaw as I gently ran my nails along his thigh. Though we never exchanged words, every gesture aligned perfectly, as if we were performing a dance together. Avery removed his final layer. The atmosphere in the room changed noticeably when that occurred. A tension eased, a permission bestowed. Then I gazed at her and softly murmured, "I want to watch you." First she met my gaze, then she didn't blink. She mounted him gently like twilight embracing the hills. Her back arched as she embraced him inch by deliberate inch. Nathan's moan was immediate, deep and raw, as if it originated from a place steeped in antiquity. His hands held her thighs firmly. His gaze shifted to meet mine. And I melted, not from jealousy, but with a warmth that took me by surprise. My hand glided beneath the hem of my nightgown, not in a rush, merely attuned. Avery's rhythm was captivating, a wave ebbing and flowing, hips moving with skill. She did not pursue the peak, she embraced the moment. Each breath that escaped her lips was a proclamation. "You have lost control now, and that is perfectly fine." I gently pressed two fingers between my legs, moving softly and slowly as I observed them. Nathan below her trembling, Avery above him radiating, and I sat at the edge of the bed, releasing a version of myself that no longer served me. I approached them, my hand resting on Avery's lower back as she moved with him, and I softly whispered, "Let me in." She nodded once, breathless yet composed, and gently eased off him, guiding me forward. And when I climbed onto him, onto us, I wasn't merely Rachel, the planner, the giver, the wife. I was the woman who desired, the woman who seized. For the first time in years, I experienced a sense of pleasure without feeling the need to earn it. I simply needed to experience it. If you're still tuned in and this story has you on the edge of your seat, think about expressing your support with a super chat or super sticker. This allows us to continue sharing daring, mature narratives such as this one. I appreciate your presence. Silence enveloped the room. There were only calm breaths, serene laughter, and thoughtful conversations that flowed effortlessly. Only stillness, dense, comforting, nearly divine. Like a gentle cover draped over three exposed forms that no longer felt exposed in the same manner. I rested on my side, one hand cradling my cheek, my eyes following the gentle shadows that danced across the pinewood ceiling, illuminated by the soft glow of the floor lamp. Avery stood next to me, her shoulder gently grazing against mine. Her warmth was gentle and inviting. It was stabilizing. Nathan rested beside me, his arm gently encircling my waist. Not engaging. Calm and still, present in the moment. There was no explanation needed. No analysis needed. What had just occurred was not merely about boundaries crossed, but rather about a certain freedom restored. I turned to confront Avery. Her eyes were wide, gazing into a realm beyond this room. I spoke in a gentle whisper. Did you come here to give him something? You arrived to offer something to me. She appeared unfazed. Simply smiled, serene as always. Perhaps both, she remarked. Nathan sat up, pulling the blanket slightly over his hips as he watched us, not with ownership or lingering desire, but with an emotion that felt oddly like gratitude. I glanced at him, then at her, and in that instant, I realized that my greatest fear wasn't the thought of sharing my husband. It was the concept of revealing my true self, the concealed aspect of myself that I had kept hidden for years, the aspect that yearned for contact, visibility, and inclusion. And this evening I experienced. There was no discussion regarding the implications of this. What should we do now? There are no plans for the future. Only the understanding. At times, that can be more than sufficient. The following morning, the house remained still. There are no creaking floorboards, appliances that do not hum. The gentle flow of light streaming through the tall glass windows fills the living room, where last night had both unraveled and reassembled us. I emerged onto the porch without shoes, enveloped in one of Nathan's worn flannel shirts. My hair was disheveled, and my body was resonating in areas I never realized could resonate. Yet my mind was calm in a manner it hadn't experienced in years. Avery's car had already departed. No note, there was no uncomfortable farewell. No looking back in the end. She departed just as she arrived. Serene, purposeful, and without asserting herself in spaces that did not belong to her. I discovered Nathan in the kitchen, also barefoot, grinding fresh coffee beans as if it were just another ordinary morning. He glanced up as I entered, offered that familiar half-smile reserved for weekends, and filled 2 mugs. There are no inquiries, there is no tension, only existence. He placed my cup on the counter, kissed my neck and wrapped his arms around my waist from behind. We never discussed what took place. There was no necessity for that. The silence that lingered between us was not born from evasion. It originated from comprehension. For the first time in a long while, I found myself not questioning whether he still had feelings for me. I no longer questioned my worth. Last night, I caught a glimpse of myself through her eyes, through his touch, and through my own daring spirit. I appreciated the person I encountered. I did not lose anything in that room. I received something in return, if nothing else. It was not about observing him. It wasn't merely about sharing him. It was about revealing a part of myself that had remained untouched for years. The aspect that continued to yearn for attention, not merely observation. The aspect that craved not only love but also the sensation of being bold, electric, and truly alive. Oddly enough, I didn't experience jealousy when she reached out to him. It was a sense of relief. As I recognized the vastness that remained within me, I became aware of all that I had concealed beneath the layers of politeness, the monotony of routine, and the gentle fading that can occur in a marriage. That night did not defeat us. It revealed something hidden. Avery chose not to remain. There was no necessity for her to do so. She arrived not to take something, but to bring back something I was unaware I had relinquished. My consent, to desire, to investigate, to avoid shrinking. I did not give my husband away. I returned to my true self. This is not a fantasy, it is a reflective surface. Not every couple is required to follow the same path we took. Every individual has the right to inquire, what do I genuinely desire without feeling ashamed? True connection isn't born from permission slips. It arises from the agreement of truth and the bravery to reshape intimacy on your own terms. If you're still tuned in and this story resonated with you, perhaps you'd consider supporting the channel through a super chat or super sticker. Your support sustains these courageous, truthful narratives. Thank you for your presence. Perhaps the next time you feel compelled to seek something greater, you'll recall this story and express it aloud.